Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm still working on the entrance, so be patient. That's all I ask. This is probably the first episode of what this whole journey will be through experiencing and truly diving into what human first really encompasses in terms of since the day we're born, basically. We start getting attached to tags to represent what we are and who we are, and in whatever room we walk in, people will already know those tags, or they will be the first things that they ask for. What's your name? Oh, I'm Susan. Nice to meet you. What's yours? And even the hi, how are you becomes just a complimentary. Like the real informations that we're all looking for. It's what's your name, who you like, how much money you have in your bank account, what's your title as like a job, can you maintain yourself, or do you need someone to help you pay the bills, or like all those basic things in terms of guidelines that we almost use to judge whether we're compatible with someone, or whether that person is a trustworthy enough person to be your friends with, or whatever the circumstances. And we get lost so much into the representations of these tags that we start cutting ourselves literally and putting ourselves in boxes. It's like saying when we have those family retreats and we all leave the naughty, the mischievous, the promiscuous, the or the sexy, or the whatever parts we don't want to show our parents or our families, and we leave it at home, thinking that it actually does stay there. But those parts are always with us. What we're doing is we're putting them in a little box for the time being, whatever how long that time is, and we're hoping that those parts would slowly fade in the background, but they're always there first, unfortunately, and virtually, I would say. Second, they come through our behaviors in ways that we cannot even imagine. Because when we start hiding our true selves, and this is behind the tags, so we have those to kind of like create a image or a facade of, or a way to appear in society that we presume people will like, because it's not always what people like. We always presume, because it doesn't matter how bad we want it, we will never be ever able. Well, actually, I'm gonna take out the never ever, because I do believe that whatever we believe in, we can achieve. So if at some point and when we will figure out a way to actually experience our mind and what it feels like, what the other perspective, the other side to the coin feels like, then that would be pretty awesome, isn't it? That would be pretty awesome. We will be able to truly understand what the situation at hand is by feeling what the other person is saying, as if we would have a radar that could help us identify whether the feeling that they behold and the message that they're delivering actually do match. And it would also be a way for ourselves to be able to really express the love that we have to give that sometimes we might not have the right words to describe, or we don't have the right words to explain to someone that everything that we are doing and everything that we've done and will do comes from a place of love, but that it also comes from a place of this is the best that I can give right now, and I'm giving it all to you. So there's sometimes we're not able to put those kind of feelings into words, and it makes it all superficial because we put so much value in words, forgetting whether a person is actually feeling those things or whether they're truthful to their emotions and they're truthful to themselves first and foremost. But going back to the tags, and it also explains the logo that was put together that represents SHS, human first, humans, right? Because we're and I was diving into this with a friend of mine, and we were talking, going back and forth. Then we came to the point where we were like, we're literally a video game, right? We born on a planet that we don't know anything about. Like we born with no knowledge about what's going on around ourselves. We're literally a blank slate, a blank sheet. Doesn't matter. Get the concept. I hope you get a concept. And well, I'm sure you do because obviously we all went through it. But we born just like that in a body that we didn't have the chance to pick, right? When we start a video game, we get a chance to pick the avatar. I mean, it's amazing, great, but sometimes we can't pick the avatar that we want. We can progressively do so after we hit a couple of levels, right? Which is the same with us. We grow into the body that we start shaping, whether we're eating a lot, or whether our parents are giving us a lot, or whether we're consuming a lot, whatever the situation is. And then we get to a point where we start actually piercing our bodies, and then we start tattooing our bodies, some of us, or sometimes we start uh, actually enhance our bodies. I mean, there's with science right now, we've gotten to a point where we can actually do almost anything, um, and with all like plugs and all of that. And so, as human beings, we progress. And when we hit certain levels, whether it's that we can afford it or we're legally allowed to do something, that's when we start collecting like a new badge of honor, a new look. And in a video game, it could be just an enhancement to the avatar that we didn't have a chance to pick at the beginning. And then every time that we lose, we learn a new way of doing things, or we think of a new way of doing things. And that's our growth. That's our lessons. Those are the things that make us grow, make us better. Every time that we have a challenge or we lose at something or someone, we start looking, well, I mean, assuming we do so, um, we also know for a fact that we weren't taught how important it is to look back at things and evaluate things and not to just point the fingers, but also truly understand what have I done that has put me in that situation, and where our responsibility stops and someone else's starts. So, with humans first, it's gonna be a chance to really look at the situations that made us think we had to go with the choice we've made. Because just understanding where someone's mind was at in a specific time period in time, it helps you understand that everything goes back to some sort of pain that we have inside, some sort of resentment or hurt or situations that we might have not dealt with properly. We might have just bottomed them down and pushed them at the back of the closet just to make sure that they don't create too much chaos. But somehow they always seem to come out again, again, and again. So, understanding that we all go through some pains doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter in this case, the gravity, because for the simple fact that you're standing here talking about something in particular that was in the past, that means that whoever we look up to, the universe, God, Allah, whatever deities we look up to, we were given what we knew we could handle. And we're here standing just because of that. No matter how standing we are, we're still standing. And there's nothing that anyone could take away from us than if it's not our experiences. Like no one can rid us of our experiences, our knowledge, the lessons that we gather from it, the hurts, the strengths that we had to put in order to achieve or surpass those situations. No one knows. We know. Maybe the ones that were close to us, they can assume, they can imagine because they saw it from the outside, but we're the ones that had to also do the internal job. So we only have great things to be grateful for. And that's how I see challenges. Like every time that I see a challenge coming, I'm excited because I'm like, I know I'm gonna find a way to get through it. And if I don't, well, I'm gonna try until I can and find the solution, find the way. And if it doesn't, if there's no way, then I must just surrender to it. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna surrender only when there's no other option. Because at that point, if I was to keep on trying and trying and trying, it just becomes desperation. And this goes out to certain levels. But if I'm 100% sure that there's no other option, there's no other way that that thing could work for me, then it just wasn't meant to be. It's also okay to say no. It's also okay to just get out of things. It's okay for us to look at all the work we've done and look at it from a place of gratitude. The fact that we've actually accomplished that, we were able to go through that and still be here standing. Not literally, but still be here with a conscience that allows you to think, that allows you to do whatever movements you can. To me, that is the biggest gift of all, having a consciousness. And we're here. We're here. I'm just recollecting my thoughts. with this project, I'm gonna be as real as I can, and I know that some people they would prefer to have something more structured, something a bit more formal, something a bit more in the box. Well, the purpose of this podcast is to throw out all the boxes, so we'll just be as natural as possible, and whoever is going to be joining us will also be happy to be able to take out that mask, that facade for a second, and just be, you know, just be whoever your being is at this current point of time, you know, and that is just freedom. That is freedom. Be able to just be wherever, whenever, without too many anxieties, without too many too many fears. It's not even about not having too many fears or too many anxieties. It's about be able to control them. And that links back. It all links back. Because our consciousness allows us to feel, allows us to experience life under and within the five physical senses that we have. So obviously touch, it's how we experience the physical material. Hearing, we experience the frequencies, something that we can't see, but we hear it's there. And then with sight, we experience reflections of light and different different shades of light particles that come together to form and give life to something that would be so sad if it didn't. Imagine a world that's all black and white. For a long period of time, people saw through screens where life was green, black and white. But at least they had the reward to look around, and I'm very glad and grateful that we can see colors. At least to and obviously also here and all the other, but colors in particular, and be able to see like birds flying, trees moving around, literally dancing to the wind, and nature growing and evolving and shaping itself into these beautiful fruits, and the color of the sky, like there's no day that the sky is ever the same. Like the way the clouds move with each other and apart from each other, it's so itself, it's an ever dancing pattern, but it never really repeats the same. And that is just beautiful. And that it's so different in so many different places on this earth. It's be able to see that. Like when you go to this to the sea and you're standing in front of the beach and you're seeing that big massive amount of droplets of water in front of you with the sun, a basically a ball on fire hiding itself behind it. It's it's just so beautiful. So definitely grateful side. Little side sad ways. Um taste, our taste buds. Oh my god, imagine if we can eat. I mean, then obviously would be the question of would we be conscious that we could eat but we can't, or would it just be something that we wouldn't even think about? Little food for thought. But at the same time, we're so lucky to be able to experience all these things. And then smell. What a beautiful thing. The smell of flowers, the smell of a home cooked meal, the smell of the rain, the smell of petrol, the smell of a recently cut grass, the smell of your passion's instrument, the smell of a pool, the smell of the sea. Imagine not being able to experience that for a second. We can't. And that's why we're so lucky. Because, well, at least and for each and every single one of those, I know that some people might not experience one. Some might also have developed more senses, and it's also the difference between each and every single one of us within that. It just amazed me that we will never be able to experience what it feels like at their level, you know. And it all links back to the being within us, not even the avatar that we weren't able to choose at birth. So we already come in the world with an understanding of who and what we represent is, and people start teaching that to us. And sometimes we don't even get taught, we just get thrown in the deep end, expected of acting like the avatar, which to me is crazy because we're souls within that. We're humans first. Humans to me is consciousness. It's not just the body that we were given, but it's the acts of being conscious in a body. And we're losing sight of that because of the amount of tags that we're attaching to ourselves. So with this, we're gonna discover and dive into a lot of stories from different people, so we can also be able to experience what it feels like to be them for however long that conversation will be. We'll also be able to dive into our psyche and really also look at what's the other side of the coin. That is going to be the greatest and question that it's going to be a permanent one. What's the other side of the coin? Because when we only experience experiences through our own way of experiencing life, well, we're only able to see our side of things. And so many times we don't even ask ourselves, but what's on the other side of the coin? So I'm just seeing my dad not being at work, not being at home, not being open to me, going straight to sleep, going at work even before I was awake. I just see this man just distancing himself from every engagement possible. But what's on the other side of the coin? What's on the other side of my angriness? And Angriness? Oh, what's on the other side of my fear of abandonment that creates the angry feeling? What's on the other side of my low self-worth not being enough? What's on the other side of, okay, so this is the love that I deserve, just being left alone? What's on the other side of, so this is how someone's supposed to love me? This must be it. And so many times we only see our own, and those realizations actually come way long after that. In the moment, we only feel angry at whoever the person is, or at whatever the circumstance. We only feel that raging emotion, that raging, burning feeling within ourselves. The disappointment, the resentment, the judgment. It's it's a dark place to be. And I'm sure that under whatever circumstance or situation, we've all been through that growing up. And that has determined so many aspects of our life. That has impacted so many aspects in our lives. And some still do, and we don't even realize. But that's also because we haven't asked ourselves what's on the other side of that? What's on the other side of this is the love I deserve? No, this was the love that they thought was good enough to be showed. This is the love of someone that's stressing about how much more love they can give with the limited time that they have, as they're trying to also provide for their family in the best way they can. What's on the other side of fear of abandonment? Fear of being left by yourself for the rest of your life and never feel that kind of love that you see on TV or you hear from your friends. Well, on the other side of that coin, there's exactly that. Someone there is sacrificing themselves because that's the only way that they know love, how to love. Someone that's giving their blood, their tears, their sweat, their life away for you, even if all they would like to do is spend the time with you, to truly enjoy that time with you, whatever that is. But they can't because you depend on them. They feel like they can't because if not, how are they going to be able to provide for you? How are they going to be able to make sure that you have food on your table? How are they going to be able to make sure that you can go to school? How are they going to be able to make sure that they're going to have the money to pay all the taxes and the bills that come through every single month? To make sure that you have lights, you have hot water, you have a hot room when it's cold, and a fresher one when it's hot. How they're gonna make sure that you always had food in your belly every night? So the feeling of needing to be away so that we can show how much we care has been passed on for years and years and years and years and years. But the issue that it was done is that now we're not even communicating that. So it's severing our relationships. We're not saying that we're away because this is happening, this is what is happening, and this is also what's happening, and this is what I have to take care of. We're not treating younger humans with the same respect that we do adults. And it's not about creating this fantasy or not. Creating this world where everything is lovey dovey, uh, whatever cartoon is happening right now. But it's about preparing them as well for reality. But to also teach them how, even in that shitty reality, there's so much good, there's so much growth, there's so much passion, there's so much creativity, there's so much love, there's so much more to life than just that shitty aspect of it. It's be able to be there for them in the little times that we have instead of feeling the shame that we cannot be there even more. So we retreat because we feel like, well, I don't deserve taking that little time of them just because now I have it. I know that I want to be there for them, but because I haven't before, what what gives me the right to be there for them now? So let me just keep myself to the side. I'll just I'll just continue and provide and provide and provide because at least they'll see that I care. The only thing is that when they're also the ones that are stressing us, and this talking about the children's stressing us, because at some point I might be as well a parent, but whether it's this lifetime or the next one, we'll see. But beside the point, there's so many feelings that I can only imagine or assume that parent goes through. But to be fair, they're always the same feelings, the same patterns that they had from when they were younger. They're just highlighting into specific parts of their lives because that's what's happening in their lives at that specific period of time. And when it's the children that are actually stressing them, because there's so much that we've had to gulp down, and I also include myself in doing all of these things because I learned all these things from first-hand experience. I was the child, so I can only imagine what's on the other side of the coin, what my dad was experiencing and feeling, what his dad and the one before that and the one before that, and all the people that had to exist in order for me to exist. Everything that had to happen the exact same way in order for me to exist, in order for me to be here with you right now. So imagine, if you haven't already felt this, of course, imagine being in a position where the person that you're giving your all to, even if you're not mentioning it and you're not explaining it, now comes and gives you the hard time, and you're like, this is all I do for you. With a higher tone, we know, but this is all I do for you. You're ungrateful. You're asking a lot, or whatever we've heard, whatever comment was sent back as the child. Um, you should do more. You should do this, do that, and trying to maneuver now your life. So as a child, you're now seeing someone that say they love you, but they're not showing it or explaining it. But they say that they're doing all these things for you, so you only hang on that love should be someone that has provided for you, someone that provides for you. So from a little age, we get to learn that if someone doesn't provide for you, you're not loved. So it's the recognition that love is an exchange, but just under different circumstances. It becomes transactional. I give you money, I give you food, I love you. But love, it's as we feel it, such a bigger feeling than that. But that is gonna be a whole different topic. For now, we're gonna stay on the humans first and how we engage with ourselves and the reason and the purpose of really coming together on this platform on the human first self-heed to succeed. So we're gonna dive all these different aspects and different side to the coins to also understand what it feels like to be the other person, because that's how we can then build our connections, our compassion, our empathy, our ability to see each other as humans and not the tags that we were given from society. That's how we then get to be freer, because we understand that we're all in this together and everything is connected and everything is everything. Now, I am no expert, right? So everything that will get said, everything that will get discussed, I appreciate that people will also do their own research, just like I do. Everything that you hear on the internet or read on the internet, you should definitely research about more. Go across different platforms, different websites, different um, search engines. Make your own connections. Make your own connections. Because whoever claims to know it all might know it all about 1% of what life is, right? They might know 100% of the 1% that life is. But why learn 100% about 1% if we can learn 50% about 100%? And making your own connections by raising those 50% up to 70% or even 60%. Still a good place to be about 100%, you know. So always research, always make your own connections, ponder on things, prompt things, make it make sense. Don't just, oh yeah, okay, of course that's how things are. No, why is it like that? What would make me think that this is correct? What can I relate to it? Where can I see this law, this pattern, or this lesson, or this morale, or this connection in other places? What's my own understanding of it? Let's challenge the status quo a bit more instead of taking things for the way they are. Cause yes, that is easy, but is it easy on us? Maybe not. Let's embrace life, use our powers of connections, because whether it's people, whether it's a cellular level, we're all connected. And the best thing that we could do for ourselves is to question, to listen to the answers, and prompt them even further to understand the concept shared, and always beware to make it sense. So we hear stories from people that come from every type of background, status, age, and so on, to remind ourselves that we are all human first and that we're all going through life's challenges, desires, dreams, etc. And we're all on our path to live a happily ever after. We're all trying to live that happy ever after. But here we're gonna try and use as less labels as possible and less titles as possible. Here we're allowed to be everything but also we're here to remind ourselves that no one's pain is greater than others, and that why should we spend our time comparing pain when we can all feel compassion for the simple fact that every single one of us has or is going through a form of pain and or pleasure. We can both experience both of them. So let's come in together and share how we all experience those things. And I'm so excited to um, go through the many stories that we're gonna hear here. And so excited to be able to share this with all of you. And I'm just excited to be part of this with you and everyone that will ever join us. Because this is ours. This is our moment to come together. This is our moment to question things. This is our moment. And I can't wait to have you here discussing that. I can't wait to hear your side of the story, to hear your experience. I can't wait to hear what it feels like to be you. The human in you and not the titles that you go on in life with. If you want to share your story, if you want to dive into these topics, do let me know and let's organize it. That is another gift that we have, is that we have the beauty of being able to share in whatever way we're able to share. Sharing is caring, right? But if you have any feedback, anything, any advices, any points, anything at all, anything, any thoughts, anything you would like to say, Please reach out. Do let me know, because I'm always open for feedback. I'm always open to hearing what's on the other side of the coin. So thank you so much for being part of this journey, and I can't wait where it's gonna take us. Um, but yeah, let's be humans first in a world where there's too many I's and U's. Let's start using the us a bit more. Cheers.